Okay everybody, welcome once again to linuxhint.com YouTube channel. In this video we're going to show you that how you can install Android Studio on your Ubuntu system. So the idea is there are a few prerequisites before installing Android Studio. Actually there is just only one, and that is basically you have to have a JDK installed on your Ubuntu system. So there's a simple command to install JDK. If you don't have JDK already installed on your system, do not worry, because I'm going to put that command in the description. So go to the description, copy that command and paste it in the terminal and run it. Okay, that would install JDK. Okay, so now if you want to check if the JDK is already installed on your system or not, for that you'll press Ctrl-Alt-T, open up your terminal. Let me zoom in a little bit, and then what you can do is that you can write here javac. Okay, so if JDK is not installed, it is going to give you an error. So if JDK is installed, it is going to give you information something like this. All right, if it doesn't give any information and shows an error, it means that there is no JDK present in your system. All right, so in order to install Android Studio, what you have to do is that you have to go to your favorite browser, go to Google and search for Android Studio. All right, or you can directly go to the link called as developer.android.com/studio. So this is that link. All right, so you click on it and it will take you to that page, and on that page it would automatically detect your system and it would give you basically the option to download it. All right, so here you can see that you can download Android Studio. It has detected it automatically. And after detection, it has shown that this is a 3.5 version for Linux 64-bit system, which is my system. All right, so now click on the download Android Studio. The terms and condition would pop up, so you have to agree to those terms and condition in order to download Android Studio. So when the terms and condition pop up, read them, and after reading them, what you can do is that you can check this box, I have read and agree with the above terms and conditions. Then you can click on download Android Studio for Linux. Okay, so now you can save it here. Okay, so now we shall wait until it downloads it. So once you download it, go to your downloads folder. You would have a zip file, something like this. So all you have to do is right click on it and then extract it here. Okay, so in the download folder, we are going to extract this Android Studio folder. All right, so right here after this extraction, you can see the Android Studio folder here, and if you go inside, you see another Android Studio folder, and if you go in here, there's a bin folder. So we need to get in there, okay, from here, from our terminal. So what we would do would write here cd and then obviously downloads. All right, so we hit enter, and if we ls here, you can see that we have the Android Studio extracted folder right here. So now we need to get into it. Okay, so we write here cd and then Android Studio, the file, the folder name, and now if we ls here, we can see there is just one directory here, which is Android-Studio. So now we also need to get inside of this directory. So what we would do, we'll just simply write here cd and then Android Studio, hit enter, and now we are inside of it. So now if we ls, you can see there are a couple of files and folders or directories here. So what we need to do is that we need to get inside this bin directory. Okay, so how do we do that? We write here cd and then we write here bin, hit enter, and now we are inside the bin directory. So if we ls here now, you can see we have a couple of scripts here in this folder. So the script that we need to run in order to install Android Studio, we need to run this studio.sh. Okay, and we need to make sure that it has all the permissions. So for that, what we would do, would write here sudo chmod 777. All right, which is like we are assigning them all the permissions to read, write, and execute. And then we write here -r, and then we write here the file name, which is essentially studio.sh. All right, so if you don't know what file permissions are, we have a separate video on that, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put the link in the description to that video so that you can go and watch that video in detail. All right, So now if we hit enter, it is going to ask us for the password, and we hit enter. You can see there is no error. So it means that it has basically changed the permissions. All right. And how do we do that? I have defined that and I have explained that in the other video. The link is in the description. All right. So now we'll just clear it, and now the time has come to install Android Studio by running the Studio script. Okay, so that's how you run a bash script. So you hit enter, and now you will wait until it would start the setup of the Android Studio. So here you can see that Android Studio setup is basically it's starting, right? So we'll wait. So here you can see that it is finding available SDK components. So it would take a while. So you can see that it says no Android SDK found. So before continuing, you must download the necessary components or select an existing SDK. So we do not have an existing SDK. We want to download it. So we'll click on next. And this is the path where we are going to install the SDK. All right. So we'll click next. We don't want to change that. So these are the components that would be installed. So we'll hit the finish button. All right. And now basically it would download the components and it would basically install them. So we will wait. Okay, so now you can see that after downloading all the components related to SDK, it is now it now says that Android SDK is up to date. Okay, so now what we would do would click on finish, and when we click on finish, what it would do, it would basically start the Android Studio, and it would give you a page something like this, that where you can actually start a new Android Studio project, or you can basically configure your SDK as well. Okay, AVD managers, settings, SDK manager, plugins, you have all the configurations in front of you. So let's say we want to go to the SDK manager and we want to configure it. So what we would do would basically go here and we can select the Android SDK, and then we can basically choose the name and the API level, whatever we want. Okay, so right now it is the Android 10.0 is selected, so it is partially installed. We can fully install it later, and basically you can go to the editor and you can change the fonts, you can change the templates, you can change the color schemes, you can change a lot of stuff. You can play with it. Okay, so let's I urge you to go ahead and play with all these settings and try to change them, and let's see what happens. So click on OK. This would basically configure your SDK according to your desires. And then you go here, you click on start a new Android Studio project. And that's how you create a project, basically by selecting the basic activity. First of all, you can select all sorts of activities. You have maps as well. You have the detail flow. You have empty activity. You have bottom navigation activity. So all of these are the app pages that you see. If you're an Android app user, then you know that the first page or the main page of the app, it is basically built something like this. Okay, so the basic activity would select it and then would click on next. So when you would click on next, it would say my application name. So you can name it like app1, and then you have this package name where all your source code would be stored, and then you have this path where basically your project would be stored. And then you can also select the language. I would select Java, which is preferred, and also you can basically select the minimum API level that you want to select. So the minimum API level that you can have is 4.0.3. okay, API 15. Then you can also check this project will support instant apps, and then you can click on finish. Click on finish, it would basically start a window like this. Okay, so in this window you would have the Android Studio, the project inside Android Studio. All right, so now here you can see it has loaded the project, and this is the project here. Okay, so you can click on it and you can see that it is initializing it. It also gives you the tip of the day, so we'll just close it. Okay, You can also check all sorts of tips if you want to, and then you can go here in the project, and here you have the app1 folder. Inside of the app1 you have the app folder, and you also have the Gradle folder. So inside the source you would have the main folder, and inside the main folder you would have two extremely important folders. One is Java and the other one is resources. So in resources you would have all sorts of design related files like the XML files and the images that you're going to use inside your app. And in Java, basically in Java folder you have the main activity.java file in which you can perform all sorts of actions when the app is basically running. Alright, you can also create other activities and other Java classes as well. So that's it from this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. You have learned something new. You can go on and play with Android Studio further if you want to. For written articles, you can visit our website linuxhint.com, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.